Hamilton County's Office of Emergency Management is making changes to how it responds to disasters in our area. That's after this historic flooding swept through Chattanooga neighborhoods in August. Good evening, I'm Latricia Thomas.
And I'm Josh Rowe. Take a look at some of that flash flooding here behind us. You can see a large portion here of I-24 almost completely submerged in water.
Now the county says they delayed activating everyone on their emergency operations team at once, instead relying on a tiered approach.
News Channel 9's Ja'Kai Spikes joins us now to talk about the changes and how one man who jumped into action during the floods, even though it was not his job, is being honored tonight. Ja'Kai.
Josh and Latricia, as you all can see, I'm standing here right outside of the City Council building. Now, one of the subjects that they talked about in the meeting was how the city is still mourning the impacts of the flash floods that hit our viewing area on August 12th. Now, Mayor Tim Kelly led off the meeting, making it a point to make sure that he was honoring the EPB worker and also the Lawson Electric workers that helped save a woman who was in her car on I-24 as the flash flood waters hit.
We recognize the heroic actions of EPB and Lawson Electric employees, notably Austin Camp, Troy Flemons, and Brandon Chadwick.
At the City Council meeting, Mayor Tim Kelly honored the EPB worker and Lawson Electric workers from this video.
We didn't do this for, you know, the interviews or rewards for them. We just did it out of good heart, and the world needs a lot more heart in it, and it's hard to give it these days.
You see them rescuing a woman as flash flood waters rose on the interstate in August.
She was in shock that day, and she couldn't believe it was happening. And you know that was everybody's expression there that day. You know they couldn't realize what was going on.
This flooding was not only a surprise to citizens, but also the Office of Emergency Management.
And the rain started in East Ridge. Out in Saudi where I live, it was sunny. So when they talked about activating our EOC, it was kind of questionable.
Now the county is changing how they respond to future emergencies like this, specifically their tiered response.
So the problem is trying to understand that in one part of the county and not realizing it until we got down here.
Amy Maxwell with Hamilton County's Office of Emergency Management tells us now the Emergency Operations Center is changing from partial activation, including 30 to 40 personnel, will now be 60 to 70 personnel from different agencies.
So from now on, it's just going to be a full response. So, and you know, the thing is, you know, we try to be considerate of all those resources, mainly because if they're not needed, we're not going to ask them to come.
Maxwell said that in moments, places like East Ridge and I-24 went from looking like this to this in a matter of minutes, so the Emergency Operations Center wasn't fully activated at the time.
We weren't, you know, ready for that to occur. We were not given that information that we were going to get almost 7 inches of rain. So as a result, we did a tier response, but now we're going to do a full response.
Now, Amy Maxwell with the Office of Emergency Management told me that if a natural disaster were to happen like that ever again, she tells me to make sure that I tell the community to make sure that you're listening to first responders' directions and that you're not just listening to what you think that you should do, but instead following those directions that first responders give you, because it could be the matter of life or death. Reporting in Chattanooga in front of the City Council building, I'm Ja'Kai Spikes. Back to you, Latricia.
Thanks, Ja'Kai. The Chattanooga Police Department says the widespread flooding on August 12th led to more than 400 911 calls and at least 35 rescues.